There's a widespread misconception out there that's plaguing gamers everywhere, and it might just be the reason that your backlog is getting stuck. Here's a phrase I see all the time across gaming communities. It's about being in the right mood to play something. You might hear someone say, "Oh, I was really in the mood to play a competitive shooter," or "I'm just not in the mood for a visual novel right now." The idea of choosing a game to play based on our mood is probably pretty intuitive for most people. After all, we do this constantly in other parts of life. How many times has someone asked you, "What kind of food are you in the mood for?" Only for you to repeat back, "I don't know, what kind of food are you in the mood for?" And here we have the first challenge with mood-based decisioning. Our moods aren't always clear to us, but let's pretend they are. Let's pretend that at any given point in time, you know the exact vibe that would harmonize with your current emotional snapshot. That would be amazing, wouldn't it? You could always pick the perfect experience to match what you're feeling. Every song, every TV show, every video game would just click like it was a precision-built puzzle piece fit to that exact moment. No rough edges, no friction, no surprises. Wait, is that what we want? Last year, I made a video to help players quickly choose what game to play so that they don't waste time being paralyzed by their libraries. Among the strategies I shared, I often anchored on using mood as a key input to the decision. And I still stand by those strategies. They are effective if the main problem you're trying to solve is reducing the time spent making a choice. But what I didn't talk about in that video was the hidden cost of relying on mood. Imagine you start dating someone new. You quickly discover that this person has a curious habit. Every single time there's a decision to be made, your partner says, "Oh, I don't care. I'm good with whatever you're in the mood for." At first, you might enjoy this. Every date night could be pizza and video games. Every road trip soundtrack could be your favorite playlist. No rough edges, no friction, no surprises. But eventually, the comfort of your familiar behaviors start to grow tiresome. You get bored, you find yourself in a rut, and then you lose interest in the relationship. This is what happens when we're constantly optimizing for our immediate mood. If we let our choices always be a reaction to whatever we're feeling in the moment, then we're not the driver. We are the car. Humans are creatures of habit, after all. We have routines, and with those routines often come patterns of emotions. If you're stuck in a stressful job for 5 days out of the week, chances are you're probably coming home each night in a pretty similar emotional state. By letting that mood be the gatekeeper for what video games you decide to play, you're closing yourself off to anything that doesn't fit within those narrow lines. This is the hidden cost of mood-based decisions. It's an eventual drift toward sameness. So what's the alternative then? Intentionally play games that we aren't in the mood for? Not exactly. The crazy thing about mood-based decisions is that they're greatly affected by how our brains predict effort. When you finally get home after that stressful job, what does your brain resist the most? Further exhaustion. So your mood pushes you toward activities that it thinks will be low effort. Scrolling, passive TV watching, or familiar, quick-hitting video games. But strangely, while in this fatigued state, you could end up browsing the Steam store, and you could happen upon an interesting-looking city builder, a genre that your brain will interpret as involving higher cognitive effort. Yet, you might still wishlist it. Hell, you might even buy it on the spot and add it to your backlog. Your brain can imagine a future where you sit down to play a game like that. It's just that right now, in its fatigued state, it writes that off as being too much to handle. And sure enough, this is exactly what happens to so many gamers. Their thinking brain has diverse interests, but their feeling brain has narrow desires. Lucky for us, the feeling brain doesn't have to run the show. Because here's the big misconception. So many of us think that we just have to wait until we're in the right mood to play certain kinds of games. We keep glancing at blueprints or Cairn sitting in our libraries, and we say to ourselves, I'm not feeling it today, but one of these days I swear I will. Maybe that day will come. But it's more likely that you keep listening to your feeling brain, that you continue to play your role as the car and not the driver. But all it takes is for you to grab the wheel. You might be thinking, okay, so maybe I don't have to always listen to my feeling brain. I could choose what game to play based on more aspirational interests. But if I start something and I'm not in the mood for it, I won't have any motivation to keep playing it. It turns out that this is the part everyone gets backward. They only think of motivation as the trigger, as the first push that gets the boulder rolling. But motivation has another trick up its sleeve, and it's not something you have to wait around for. Because motivation can also emerge in response to an action. It can be the momentum that keeps the boulder rolling after the initial push. Action and motivation form a loop. When we take action, we get immediate feedback, new information, and potentially alter our emotional state. Suddenly, our feeling brain has something different to react to, and all it takes is a little spark to ignite our motivation. For months, Crimson Desert had been near the top of my wish list, but I saw all the coverage about the clunky controls and slow start, and I kept saying to myself, I'm just not ready for a big open world game right now, even though there was so much about it that interested me. Finally, I grabbed the wheel. I opened up Steam and I bought the game. When it finished downloading, there was still a voice in my head saying, nah, maybe not tonight. Let's just play some Battlefield. But I resisted my feeling brain, and for the last couple weeks, I've been completely absorbed by this game. Not once after that first night have I felt like I needed to wait for motivation to strike in order to keep playing, because that initial action of downloading and booting it up was all it took to ignite the motivation. You don't have to wait until you're in the right mood to play a game. You can just choose to start playing it, and more often than not, the motivation you were waiting for will suddenly appear. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.